Good morning, everyone. This is Biz Chicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today I'm here with Robin Shimizu. It is Thursday. We're doing Happy Healthy Habits with Robin Shimizu and friends. We see her guest in the green room, and she'll be introducing her shortly. We just wanted to give a shout out to everyone watching live and on the replay. And we just want to say welcome. Come on in, join in the conversation, and let's get started. How you doing today, Robin?
I'm doing great. I'm just fine today. How are you, Terry?
All is well. All is well. I'm excited. Well, my daughter's been here all week, so it's been really nice to see her. She's in from Texas. And so-
Does she have any? Does she tell you what it's like in Texas as compared to California? I mean, where is she in Texas?
She is outside of Dallas. She's in a little city called Irving. It's a suburb of Dallas. She has really been social distancing, and working from home.
Oh, good.
And it is different because she lives alone. So she said, it's kind of eerie. It's kind of eerie. Wow. Yeah. So we have Linus here. So do you want me to bring her into the studio?
Yeah, please bring her on in. Hi, Linus.
Good morning, Linus. How you doing? Beautiful?
Good morning. I'm good. Had a little problem getting in there. Sorry, I was a little bit late. Actually, I've been trying to get in for about 5 minutes. So, how is everyone today?
All is well. All is well.
Linus, you look beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
You're in a different place. Where are you? You're not in your office.
I am in my office. I have not really redesigned, but my children from my 63rd birthday gave me this beautiful L desk. And so now it goes around this way, and this is the full part of my office right here.
Wow.
In fact, I just got this the other day. Can you see it?
What is it?
A microphone. Wow, we're
You
excited.
need that.
Yeah, I got a studio set up, and I've got a green screen that I've got set up here, and a branded background. And yeah, things have been pretty interesting setting up my at-home studio. This is part of my at-home thing. Only thing is that I've got to find a way to create this so I can be a stand-up. There's something I can get so I can stand up sometimes, because when you're working from home, it's so easy to sit for 2 or 3 hours, unlike when you're in the office. Because you get up to the office, you go to the next cubicle or the next office, you're talking, go to the cafeteria, go for your walk or whatever.
Mhm.
But when you're at home, it's a little different. So that's what we're going to talk about today, because I've been working from home in this business.
I have a desk that sits on top of my desk, and it allows me to elevate it, sort of, almost like a bed tray. Only it's so it holds my laptop, so that I can elevate it, so I can stand up when I want to.
Yeah, where did you get that from? You can tell me where you got that. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Something that I can, lift up like that I can set on my desk.
Yes,
I was going to buy a desk like that, but my children got me this as a surprise. I mean, it was really a surprise. I came home and my office was in shambles because they were in the process of putting it. I was like, what's going on? Yeah, I love it. I really do love my desk.
That's really amazing, because your office is your sacred space.
Mm-hmm.
And for them to come in and be able to redo your office like that, and for it to be, set well with you, is really a testament for their knowing who you are. That's wonderful.
They do. They know exactly. I mean, it is perfect. I feel like it's a real. Well, I have my prayer room side. That's my prayer room. You can't see all of it, but so over here and over there is part of my prayer room side, and then this part right here is my office side. And so it fits perfectly. It really does. It made me want to go out and get a new computer, which is my next goal. But lately I've been saying things like this, and then it happens. Okay, but I don't get it. Okay, I'm on a computer. New computer.
No, we're going to get more specific too about what kind of computer.
Yeah.
want a desktop.
Which one you want?
An all-in-one desktop. I like Dell. I've been doing Dell for 20 years. So all-in-one desktop, Dell.
Really? Okay.
We'll put it out there.
All right.
And then later on, you'll have a new computer.
I'm just going to say this, that if you use a Mac, you'll have less pop-ups. And you won't have as much, what would you call it? When they come in and they,
Spyware?
Yeah, you won't have to buy that. It's built in.
Really? I don't have any of that problem with my Dell. I haven't. Now, I've had Apple before, and I don't dislike Apple, but I find that Dell has been very, very sturdy for me. Back in the days when I was traveling a lot, and sometimes things would get knocked around, and the Dell was always. I kind of become a Dell loyalist. But Apple is wonderful, but also I'm looking at what I can afford in my budget, and what I looked at the Apple. And I think it was like $1,200, and I was like, I have some other things I need to get, like a new camera and things like that. So, kind of operating within a budget.
So talk to us before you go shopping. Meanwhile, back at the ranch. I'm so happy for you. And I'm so excited to see you looking well and being well. But before we get started, let's talk to Robin. Robin, do you have a quick, healthy habit for us today?
Well, I can tell you what I'm doing right now, which is a healthy habit, and that's even though we're sheltered in, and even though we have a lot of alone time, I decided to take myself away for a week, and I'm up in Angels Camp, just all by myself. Just me time, and it's just been so wonderful. In fact, this morning I asked them for one more night, and so I got one more night tonight, so I don't come home till tomorrow, and I'm just so it's been really, really relaxing, and restful, and rejuvenating, and the weather's been beautiful, and the smells in the air, pine and
I can see it in you. I can. I can see it. You look lighter. You look lighter. I can see it. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, but I've got new computer glasses, so it can actually see you now. Blurry, and I couldn't really see, but I can't go without my glasses, and so now I have computer glasses, and that's another healthy habit that I decided to splurge and get something that's healthy and get computer. With the screen, blue screen protection and everything. So that's another healthy habit. Anyway, Linus, you're going to teach us a little bit today about how to stay healthy while working from home. And I didn't get a chance to introduce you. Do you want me to introduce you?
Yes.
Oh, I think. Okay, go ahead.
Because
I got Linus' introduction by heart. She is an author. She's an entrepreneur. She's an author. She's a coach. She has an e-magazine. She's a mentor for many, many ladies, and her focus is for women over the age of 40. And she helps us with our physical health, mental health, emotional health, and spiritual health. And she's so well-rounded, and I just love having her on because it's just like every time we have her on, she's got a new subject for us, and it's all very relevant. So, Linda, today we're going to learn about how to take care of ourselves working from home.
Yes, and I'm going to give a few tips about staying healthy working from home. This is part of my new Vibe Living Happy Hour series that starts on July 15th. And every Wednesday at 10 a.m., we're going to have a live a Vibe Living Early Happy Hour webinar. And I'm inviting people to come in and get these tips. And they also get downloads and lots of information. The webinar is $10. And basically for $10 for about an hour, you get a coach who will not only be giving to you information, but also answering questions about the topic of the day. So I will be sharing the schedule and all of that on Biz Chicks. But anyway, the reason why I decided to do a webinar on working from home was something that my sister said, and it didn't even occur to me. My sister's been working for the state. My baby sister has been working for the state for 20-something years, I guess. And when all this happened, of course, she's a manager, so she's working from home. And after about 2 or 3 weeks of it, she mentioned to me, she said, Linus, you should really do something about how to work from home, because this is just really, it's hard to focus. I can't figure out where to sit because, things are kind of uncomfortable. I'm stressed out because I'm afraid to leave the computer in case someone sends me an email and I'm not there. And, all this stuff. And so I started thinking about it. I have been working from home since the late 90s. Because when I was working for Kaiser and Progressive, I had laptops and sometimes I would work from home. So I'm very familiar with initially getting set up at home, but also very familiar because I've been working from home for almost 12 years now. And I decided I would put something together from a wellness perspective in terms of things that you should be taking a look at when you are working from home. And one of the things that's really super important is that you want to start your day in a positive way. I know what it feels like. It feels kind of great to be able to just kind of roll out of your bed and then boom, there's your computer and you start working. And that's kind of cool at first, but it gets old real fast. So I suggest that you start your day in a positive way, just like you would normally if you were leaving the home and going to work. You want to make sure you're removing the brain fog when you wake up. So when you first wake up, drink that lemon water. It's good for your, we've talked about this before. It's good to cleanse your liver. It's good to wake up your brain. The brain is more than 90% water. So when you are drinking that water, first thing before you even get out of bed, that's important. When you're looking in the mirror and you're preparing yourself for the day, make sure you greet yourself with love. I know it sounds crazy to some people, but some folks look in the mirror and they're like, oh God, I'm dreading the day, dreading the way you look, just dread. Get rid of that. Instead of say something like, hello, I am loved today. I look fantastic. And start saying your I am statements. I am loved, I'm successful, I'm gifted, I'm intelligent. Start saying what, you, even if you don't really feel that way, start declaring that about yourself. Spend some quiet time before you get started in your day. Meditate, pray, whatever it is that you need to do that can be uplifting to your spirit. Maybe listen to some, praise and worship music, disco music, whatever it is that can kind of lift your vibration and kind of make you feel a little energized and happy. Get moving. Take a quick walk around the block. Lift weights, do yoga. You can do what I did earlier this morning, jump in the pool, do a couple laps, whatever it is. Get your blood flowing and nourish your body. Now, I don't eat breakfast anymore like I used to. I drink my breakfast. So I have a smoothie every morning. Sometimes it's fruit, sometimes it's spinach. It just depends on, what I have a taste for. And I always my cup of joe. I just, do that. And then here's the thing that's really important. Get dressed. My husband no longer asks me anymore where I'm going because he knows exactly where I'm going. I'm putting my makeup on, getting dressed and walking right from there to here. That's it. He used to ask me, back in the day, where are you going? You have an appointment or something? And I said, yes, I have an appointment with my business. Because I feel that when you are getting dressed, you're setting the tone for your day. You're already uplifted. You've already nourished your body. You removed the brain fog. You greeted yourself. You greeted yourself with love. Now you're ready to start your day. Go ahead and get fully dressed. That really makes a difference as you go on with your day. So I think it's important to start your day in a positive way. The other thing you want to think about is creating that workspace, that would be productive. Now, some of us may not have, an office in the home, especially if normally you go away to work. And now you're, working at home. So you want to take a look at what your needs are and try to choose a dedicated workspace or work zone. If you can't get your own room, at least you have your work zone. If you possible, try not to use the kitchen table space if possible, and allocate an area where you can work, where you can pin things up on the wall if necessary. That's your space. And tell the rest of your family, this is my space. In fact, you don't ever go to that space except for when you're working. So that when you go through your positive day and then you go to your workspace, you're already beginning to start focusing your mind that, okay, I'm getting ready to work. You want to make sure that you invest in a good ergonomic chair. Do as I say, not as I do. This is not the chair. I've ordered one that fits better with this desk because the other desk I had was fine, but now I need something else. So invest in an ergonomic chair and check with your employer to see if they will pay for a chair for you since you're working at home. Sometimes if you don't ask, they won't do it, but they really do need to provide you with an ergonomic chair if they're asking you to work from home. Figure out what works for you. For some people, clutter is not a big deal, but for other people, clutter is a big deal. Working sometimes in an organized space helps you to organize your thoughts and get clear on what you're going to do for the day. So make sure that things are within reach. If you're thinking, oh, it's okay if I reach back here. But if you're reaching back there 10 times a day, 5 days a week, after a while, you're going to wonder, why do I have this crick in my back or in my neck or just this weird little aches and pains? And many times it's how your workspace is set up. Make sure that you try to start at a specific time each day, because that really does program your mind and help get rid of the brain fog and helps to focus you and helps you to get concentrated on what you're going to do because you're in the work mode. And make sure, no matter what you do, because you are at home, that you prioritize your comfort. Do what's comfortable for you. Okay. If the other folks at home, or I'm sorry, at work, where to see your workspace, they might think, oh, that looks crazy or weird. But if it works for you, then do that, because this is your workspace. This is where you are getting things done. And so you want to do what works for you. And don't hesitate. Let me make sure I emphasize this. Do not hesitate to ask your employer for what it is that you need, so that you are comfortable and don't end up hurting yourself and having to go out on sick leave or worse because of a sprained neck or carpal tunnel or whatever. So if you need a new keyboard or something, or a different kind of mouse pad or mouse or whatever it is, you let them know what it is that you need so that you can be productive working from home. Another thing that I want to talk about is the idea of, creating a schedule that works for you so that you're not like overstressed, because stress is a big component when working from home, believe it or not. Most people think, oh, I'm working from home, so I can just kick back or whatever. And over time, maybe you can get into that. But initially, it's kind of stressful because you're meeting the needs of your employer from home. And sometimes you can get a little bit stressed out just about that. I can't tell you how many people have said to me, including my sister, about being nervous about walking away from the computer because they're afraid that in case they get an email and they're not there, people will think they're not working. Well, I understand that. But the reality is, when you're at work, normally you get up, you go get a cup of coffee, you go talk to the next person in the office or the next cubicle, you go for a walk, you might even have a personal conversation on the phone, and you don't get fired. You still get your work done. Well, it's the same thing at home as well. It's just that you're at your home space, and so it's a little bit difficult to get more to the work mode. So what I suggest is to create a schedule that works for you. Of course, you want to get dressed no matter what. You want to figure out when your meals are going to be, where and when. You want to set some boundaries for you, your employer, and the others that work around you. And you want to maybe try the Pomodoro rule, which is the 52-17 rule, which means you work for 52 minutes, and then you take maybe 17 minutes off and do something else for a minute. Then you go back and you work for another 52 minutes. The main thing is, don't feel like you're tied to your desk. You can't go away because the office guys are watching everything that you do. Take your breaks when you normally do. Take your lunch when you normally do. Take your walks like you used to do when you were working at work. Do all of that. One of the things that happens a lot when you're working from home, especially when we're sheltering in place for the most part, I guess some people are, some people aren't. I guess it depends on what your situation is. But if you are sheltering in place, then you feel like you're even sitting around more. And you're right, you are. So take those opportunities when you're working. Just take those same breaks like you normally would. And if you don't want to walk outside, get up and walk around your house. Do some push-ups, sit-ups, do some jumping jacks, run around the backyard. I suggest you get some sunshine. I mean, I know people now are getting paranoid about the droplets and all this stuff, but you really do need to get out in the sun. It helps with paranoia. It helps with the feeling of negativity and depression and anxiety and stress. So you definitely want to get out. And make sure that you are creating a schedule that gives you time for you. If you normally work 8 hours a day, then work 8 hours a day. But if you can get things done in 6 hours a day and you're not clocking into a time clock or whatever, well, then work 6 hours a day. Do what works with you. That meets the requirement of whatever your employer has set for you and also meets your requirement as well. Now, there's some employers or some kind of jobs where you log in and they know when you log in, they know you when you log out. I'm not speaking necessarily to those that are production driven in that way, but I'm speaking to those people who are working from home that usually have a lot, not free time, but they run their own schedule on their job. You can run your own schedule at home as well. Don't let yourself get too stressed out about that. Another thing that you want to think about is a way to improve your focus and concentration. And here's some holistic tips, that might help. Like I said, try the 52-17 rule. Reward yourself. When you have completed a task or a project or something that has taken an effort, where normally you might get recognition from your peers or your boss, and now maybe you're not getting it the same way, recognize yourself. Reward yourself when you've completed something. Turn off all of your social media notifications, especially if you're working from home from an employer or if you're working on a project and you're trying to get something done. Maybe normally you wouldn't have your social media on at work, so don't have it on at home. Set aside that exercise during the workday. You can do this. Maybe your exercise is 30 minutes during your hour lunch, 15 minutes during your 45-minute lunch, whatever you set up, but just make sure that you set up time to move. And like I said before, to improve your focus and concentration, get out of your sweats and PJs. Just put on clothes. Again, decide when you're going to start work. Schedule some networking time with people who are also working from home or who are outside of work. You don't want to socially isolate yourself. If you may not be able to reach out to people in person anymore for whatever reason, but that doesn't mean that you still can't talk with people. So set aside some time for networking and social interaction. It makes you more impactful and effective when working from home. And as much as possible, keep your work environment decluttered. When the kids get home from school or when they finish homeschooling or whatever that situation is, don't let them pile up their stuff on your desk. Find another place where they can put their stuff. Make sure everybody knows that this is your sacred space for work and it's not used for anything else but that. Another thing you want to think about is optimizing your control while working from home. You want to make sure you have an adjustable chair. You want to make sure that you position your keyboard and mouse in front of you so it's within easy reach. And you want to make sure that you're ergonomically correct in terms of adequate knee foot clearance. These are all things that will really help. You want to maintain your good posture. You don't want to be sitting like this, kind of slumping over. You want to sit up straight. You want to have a chair that supports that. And you don't want to sit for too long. Change your posture every few minutes. Take regular micro breaks if you need to. A lot of times what I do when I'm like, for instance, on a conference call or on a webinar and they can't see me, I'm not necessarily sitting in front of the computer. I can hear what they're talking about. I can see the screen, but I'm in the background. I'm lifting weights. I'm doing push-ups. I'm doing something in this part of the room. I'm doing something else and not just sitting. So take those opportunities to do other things to kind of help you. Here are a couple tips. And this is my last little bit. to prevent weight gain. Find workout activities that you really enjoy and stick to those. If you don't enjoy walking or jogging, then don't do that. Find a workout routine that you enjoy and make sure you do it at least 30 minutes a day, every day. Really, it's going to help so much, especially in the current climate that we have of being a little bit more sedentary than normal. Make sure you're getting the right amount of sleep and don't cheat yourself on that. When you're sleeping the hours that your body needs, your metabolism kicks in and it burns calories. So sleeping is really good for weight gain. Make sure that you do maybe like 15 minutes of fitness burst. It's a great thing. Like for instance, 5 minutes of jogging in place, 5 minutes of doing jumping jacks, 5 minutes of doing sit-ups, whatever it is. Those 15-minute bursts of fitness can also be part of your 30 minutes. And it not only re-energizes you, but it gets your endorphins going. I find that usually between 1 and 3, my blood sugar goes down a little bit. So I make myself a smoothie and then I do something that's going to be an energy burst for 15 minutes. And then I'm back and I can finish my workday. Make sure that you remember your why always. And I know that sounds crazy to say about weight gain, but remember why you're doing what you're doing. Sometimes we get so stressed out in terms of prioritization and what to do and everything else, that cortisol starts going, and next thing you know, you're getting thicker and thicker and thicker. But remember why you're doing what you're doing. You're working from home because you're providing from your family. You're working from home because you love the business that you started. You're working from home because you enjoy what you're doing. Whatever it is, remember your why. Go back to the basics. And don't stress yourself out about trying to get perfection because you're working from home. There's no way you can have perfection in anything that you do. Get rid of that word and find the things about working from home that give you joy and focus on those things.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, I have 2 full pages of
I was taking notes. I had to get off the screen too. Oh my gosh! You know, Maureen, we had a comment here from Maureen. Maureen says, "Yes, I find it stressful. Thank you for the information." She works from home, and she's a fitness coach, strategist, and she's all about teaching people how to cook and eat healthy. Mm-hmm. In addition to that, and she's a yoga instructor. So, and all of that is coming out of her home. So,
yeah. It can be kind of stressful, especially if you're managing children too. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what's going to be happening with our school-age children, but it looks like parents are going to be doing some things. They're going to have choices, and maybe their choice might be to do homeschooling. So then you have to work that in too. So it's really important that you develop a schedule and that you make sure that you incorporate your own self-care into that. Because when we stop taking care of ourselves, that's when the stress starts to creep in. There's some days that even after I do the 15-minute burst of workout, drink my green smoothie in the middle of the day, I'm still feeling a little bit tired because my day starts at 4:30 in the morning. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and take a 15-minute nap. I can do that. And I do. And I wake up and I'm fine. So I think one of the things about working from home is that you need to give yourself some grace.
I think so.
There are no work at home gods that are going to come down and strike you dead because you're not glued to the computer and you're not productive every single minute of the day. Mm-hmm. Sometimes your most creative and productive thoughts or ways to do things come when you shut down and just stop. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have to be human beings and not just human doings.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jill said she came in late, but she really enjoyed what she did see.
You know what I like? I love the fact that you reminded us to talk to our bosses and to talk to our employers to ask for the accommodations that are necessary. That's so important. And I hadn't really thought of that before. And the other thing I wanted to mention is my sister works from home now. She usually she's a mechanical draftsman. Mm-hmm. Anyway, she's working more hours because normally she would be commuting for 45 minutes to and from work, but she's working now during those hours. And so she has to learn how to stop that and take care of herself during that time that she would normally be commuting. So she's actually putting in more hours of work. So I think that is so wise to put yourself on a schedule and to communicate that schedule to your people, because that's the other part of it, so that they know what you're up to. That's, and not have those expectations that you're tied to your desk every moment of the day.
Exactly. And you know what? Sometimes, just like in any situation, you have to manage your manager. Sometimes they don't know. And a lot of them do not know how to manage people remotely. They've never done it before. The businesses have not been set up that way, so they don't know. So they're kind of feeling things out. So now is the time to let them know what works best for you. And that might be what they end up incorporating as the best practice. There's a lot of things that they don't know. One of my daughter's frustrations, my other daughter who was working home before she was furloughed, because she's in the hospitality industry, and she got so frustrated because her director didn't seem to know how to manage them remotely. Now, she's been working remotely for a few years because she travels, so she knows what to do and how to do it. But he didn't seem to have a clue. So I said, well, you're going to have to find a way, in a politically correct way, to show him how to manage your group remotely. And I gave her some tips on that. And so now it was much better. But man, she would get so frustrated because they'd have these meetings and everybody's already stressed because they know they're going to be getting furloughed. Okay. The days are, there's no business to report on really. Because she's in charge of revenue generation for the Marriott Corporation, for the Eastern Seaboard. They closed all their hotels.
Yeah.
So he would start out the meeting by, what you got to report? And they're like, nothing. 15 people, nothing. A couple of people try to make something up. And then he say, okay, well, we'll check in tomorrow. Instead of saying, hey, how are you guys doing? I don't know anything new about when the furlough is going to happen. But let's be optimistic and maybe make some plans for later. Sometimes you have to kind of clue them in that how you're running your meeting right now remotely is stressing me out.
It is so true. And I think those of us who have adult children in the workplace, we are really becoming their coaches. It's like, okay, look, this is what's going on mentally, and this is how you have to handle this. Because we have a different perspective because we're on the other side of through. You know what I'm saying? And it's new. Nobody's had to do it this way and make this shift. And so I agree. I think it's really important for us who do work from home and have had experience working from home that we share the things that we do know. And that we
think that's very right.
And then we coach people because they are stressed out.
Yeah, I think that's true. When my daughter finally got furloughed, she was so happy. She came out here. She was out here for 3 months, and she just left last week to go back to DC for a couple of weeks, and she's coming back again because she doesn't go back to work till October. And she was like, she felt like the whole time she was just holding her breath, not because she hasn't worked from home before, but because so many people she was working with hadn't worked from home before. Didn't know how to do it. And so you know how it is when you have adult children, you become more of a coach than a hands-on helicopter parent because they're not going to do what you say necessarily. And so she was just saying, kind of like what you said, Caroline, and she said, I am so glad you understand what it's like with corporate America and all this different stuff. Because I worked in corporate America for 25 years. So sometimes with this whole working at home situation, you can be a support to others as you go down your journey. I think, in this situation, because so much of this is kind of like as we go, the best way to stay well is to continue to talk to others about your experience. Don't keep it in. Call your coworker. Don't try to have this face of everything's together. Maybe you want to present that face while the manager is there, but on your own time or, during your other times when it's just one-on-one with someone else that you trust, go ahead and vent, get it out.
Trust your frustrations.
Right, because normally you would do that. Normally there's someone, that you work with, normally, or maybe there's a friend
at the water cooler. Yeah.
Yes, right. That hasn't changed. Those resources are still there. You just may not be able to, hug them right now, but you can at least talk to them face to face.
So you have to set up your own break room.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Your virtual conversations took place in the break room, right? Yeah, I am with you, Linus. Having worked in corporate America, it is very stressful and without all of this wonderfulness. And then to have different things placed on top of that, the things that are happening with Black Lives Matter, a lot of that conversation is coming in at a time when you're already stressed out about having to make this transition to work from home. So that exercise thing that you recommended.
Oh, yeah, people just don't know when I'm, doing training or whatever, and I'm the listener and not the trainer. How much I'm doing? I'm doing push-ups from my chair and doing all kinds of stuff because we are more sedentary. As much as I work out, I'm not moving as much as I normally was because a lot of things aren't even open.
Exactly.
There's no place to go. For weeks there was no place to go. Now I notice that a lot of things are open, but not restaurants and things in Sacramento, California. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. It's all over the place, and some are, some aren't. You don't know. And so, and even if they are all open, you might have more of a tendency to be hesitant about going out and doing things. So, we are more sedentary. So you have to make an effort. When I first wake up in the morning now, and before I never thought about it, but now I definitely do. I don't sit down for at least 2 hours because I'm busy doing things, including my walking or jogging, whatever I do. But I'm busy doing stuff. I don't get up and go and sit down and have my coffee. I'll make my coffee, make my smoothie. I'll stand and drink my smoothie. I'll stand and drink my coffee while I'm, planning my day or whatever. I get dressed and I go work, then I take my shower, get all that other kind of stuff. So I don't actually sit down until it's time for me to go to work. And you'd be surprised. That's a very easy thing to do. Put a load of dishes in the dishwasher, wash the clothes, do all this stuff. You're still standing and moving, doing your housework, maybe early in the morning. You're fully awake. So by the time you sit down, you're ready to go. What happens a lot of times is that people change their normal routine when they're working from home. And then they wonder why by 10 or 11 o'clock, they're so tired or stressed out. And that's because you have broken up some of the things you would normally do. That's why it's so important. Still get dressed. Still do the routine you had before. And I know part of that might be getting the kids together and everything else. Well, you still have to get the kids together. They should be getting up, getting ready for school once school starts again, even if they're still working from home and doing school from home. Same thing. We want to be able to keep those same schedules because there's some security in that. Sometimes it's stressful dealing with the unknown. Let's face it, right now, all of us in the United States, especially, are operating without a net. There's so much we do not know. We don't know about our economy. We don't know about our jobs. We don't know about our health. We don't know about the racism that's going on. We don't know about the election. We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So what we can control is what's happening with us on a daily basis and staying present in our homes. We can do that to a certain extent. And it's so important to stay present, to focus on what you're doing right now in this moment in time and not think too much about the future or not a whole lot about the past. You reference the past in terms of what did you learn? What can I do better? Whatever. But to stay there and go through recriminations and beating up on yourself about what you didn't get done yesterday and about that conversation you had with the client, all that stuff, let that go. We need to give ourselves grace because this is unlike any other time in modern human history for this country.
Yes.
And we need to give ourselves grace. We do. Perfection, let it go.
And someone asked me this morning, is this, when are we going back to the way things were? Do you ever think things will be the way they were? Things are always changing, and I just think that we're learning different ways to do business, in addition to the way we used to do it.
We're learning different ways to be. I don't think it will ever go back to how it was, and I'm not sure that it should.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we just weren't dealing with that now we have. Our soft underbelly has been exposed. The infections that are behind that Band-Aid are now open and oozing out for all to see. We are a great country, but we have problems just like everybody else, and we need to solve them. We need to deal with them. And so now here we are. And I think one way to help, if you want to figure out what can I do, what you can do is take good care of you and to remain open and present, open to new experiences and present about what you're dealing with, not worrying too much about the future and not worrying about the past. And you'll get through it. We'll get through it.
Thank
Great
you.
advice.
Okay. Do you have something coming up, Linus?
Yes, I do, Carolina. At 10 a.m., I and a lady by the name of LaShonda Herring are going to be doing a webinar on how to pivot your business.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how this all came about, but basically, I started getting calls from people who wanted to do more things online. And I ended up coming up with a whole nother thing that I'm doing now. I actually have clients of coaches and teachers and trainers and entrepreneurs and things like that who might have a little bit of presence online, but they want to increase it, or they've never been online. They've never done a webinar. They don't know how to find free help like interns, things like that. So it's called Stand Out. Stand Out is an acronym, and we tell you what that means. And basically, we give you some strategies on how to pivot your business in terms of how to get your image out there in a positive way, and how to do all of this and still have fun and not stress yourself out. So, and these are one of these webinars that it's only going to be about an hour, but when you finish listening, you will have some actionable items of things to do. It's not just us trying to sell you something. I mean, it's free, and it will give you some good. So I'll put the bit.ly in here so you can see it.
Oh, I'm gonna tune into that because I need to get going on my website and all that stuff. So that's exciting, Linus. Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, it helps you to fine tune your strategy and what it is you need to do, and really take a look at yourself to see where you are. Because sometimes we think, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, all this stuff. It's overwhelming and nothing gets done. Right. But if you have a strategy, figure out, okay, streamline it and figure out where the low hanging fruit is and, how to proceed, then it's a little less daunting. Okay. Here it is. That's it. bit.ly Stand Out. And I will also go to your BizChix and put something out there too. On BizChix.
Sounds great. Pat's in here, Jill's in here. And I think that we all have really benefited from today's conversation. Okay, I see I'm going to put it in the chat here. Hold on. As soon as I get it correctly copied. Okay. Talk amongst yourselves while I get my skills going here.
So, Linus, what else do you have coming up besides your 10 o'clock? I know you've got tons of things.
Yeah, I do. My Vibe Living Happy Hour starts on July 15th, and I will put a link to that. I have to take a look at my schedule to see what I'm going to be talking about. Oh, COVID pounds and inches. That's what I'm going to be talking about.
Oh my God.
Getting rid of those COVID pounds and inches is what I'm going to be talking about on that first Vibe Living Happy Hour. So I will put I need to look it up. I'll put the bit.ly on that for the registration for that. Okay. And I have a Hope and Wellness Retreat coming up August 27th and 28th, and I will definitely share that on BizChix when the time comes up. We're going to have a virtual retreat. Normally I have the Wellness One retreat, right? But can't do retreats right now, so we're going to do a virtual one, and it's going to be holistic. We're going to deal with the mind, the body, and the spirit, doing holistic practices. We have a couple of speakers, and just basically disconnecting for a few hours for 2 days in a row. It's going to be great.
That sounds wonderful.
That's what I got going on.
Having that link and that information put over in the chat and on the website.
I'm getting ready to go over there.
But I love Zooming. I love the fact that we could still do this virtually, and I find it very convenient, and I feel so uncomfortable out. So I'm so happy that we have these opportunities. So Linus, I think you're virtual.
Isn't it interesting? Because can you imagine? Yeah, isn't it interesting though? Can you imagine something like this happening in the 50s? What would happen? Because we didn't have the technology. We would really be in a bad place. So at least we have the technology to keep things going. You know, everything happens for a reason. I know these are difficult times for a lot of families, but we have to remember to keep being grateful and counting our blessings.
That's right. Yep. Well, Linus, like always, you did such a wonderful job teaching us how to stay healthy. And there's so many tips that I'm going to give my sister to stay healthy because she's working way too hard.
Well,
gotta let that go.
I'm going to definitely do the replay on this for my daughter because she's returning to Texas and she'll be working from home for corporate America. And some of these different conversations that are going on are affecting her in the workplace. And she's going to need this information. I thank you so much. Guys, make sure that you follow Linus if you're not already following her. Also, be sure to sign up for these webinars. They're really economical. Come on, people.
$10.
It's real.
And also, make sure you join my group, the Wellness Women 40 and Beyond group on Facebook. We have now, I think 3,500 women now who have joined the group who care about wellness. So definitely join that group. All women over 40, you're in a safe space in terms of talking about all kinds of stuff. I think the other day we were talking about sex. So join us over there on the Wellness Women 40 and Beyond group.
Sounds like a plan. And guys, if you're interested in joining Biz Chicks, you can just text Biz to 33777 and join Biz Chicks. Also, you can ask to join the group. Please answer all the questions because it asks you to provide that information so we can go ahead and put you in the group. So we thank you for that. And we want to thank you again, Robin, for having such great guests. And we want to give a shout out to Robin. We want you to follow Robin everywhere on the web. And also we want you to follow Linus. So with that, we want to remind you guys, don't forget to go to the front of your own line. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.